Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the basics of LEGO stop motion. In this episode, we will be going over the walk cycle, specifically at 24 frames per second on clay. The walk cycle is one of the most important parts of LEGO stop motion. Generally, stop motion films are shot at 15, 20, or 24 frames per second. In this tutorial, we will be going over how to animate walking at 24 frames per second, as it is the animation standard and the frame rate at which all of our films are shot. 24 frames per second creates a much smoother animation than lower frame rates. Walking on studs, however, can be particularly difficult at this high frame rate because of the balancing required in between steps. Consequently, many LEGO animators prefer 15 frames per second. We generally shoot our films on clay, making the walk cycle much easier. On clay, we can stick the minifigure into the ground to keep them balanced when they are in between steps. Here is the cycle frame by frame. The first frame of the walk cycle has both feet together with the figure's arms at his side. Make sure the figure is not leaning in any direction, as this can make animating more difficult. In the next frame, the figure should have one foot slightly raised with the minifigure's torso moving slightly forward. Make sure to move the arms as well. When walking, the arms move in tandem with the opposite foot. So, for example, if the right foot is moving forward, so is the left arm. In the third frame, the foot should be lifted up slightly higher again. In the fourth frame, the figure should be pushed forward with the back foot starting to come off the ground. In the next one, the front leg starts to come down. Push the figure slightly forward again with his back foot. This should bring the front leg down slightly and the back leg up. Continue this process for the next 4 frames as well. Afterwards, start pushing the back leg forward. This may cause your figure to tilt, so you have to make sure to keep them as upright as possible. The next frame should have the feet almost parallel. Be sure to also time the movement of the arms appropriately. As they move in tandem with the legs, they should be coming together again. The last picture of the cycle should have the feet directly next to each other. The total number of frames of a full cycle should be between 9 and 13 frames. Here's the cycle again slowly. Also, you can pause any one of our films on YouTube and use the comma and period keys to go back and forth slowly between the frames if you want to see individual frames in our actual films. Some important things to check for when animating walking figures is pacing. Your figure's torso and head should roughly move the same amount forward each frame. Be careful to make sure that the figure is not leaning in any direction or pivoting as they are walking. If they are, this can make it harder for the motion to be fluid, as the line of motion can be difficult to maintain. When animating, we always check at least 3 frames. Just because the movement in the last 2 frames looks good, doesn't mean the motion as a whole does. For example, if the figure moves up in this frame, and then moves down in the next, and then moves up again in the one after, the figure's motion won't be smooth. This can also make your walk cycle look jittery. Here's the final product. As always, thanks for watching and comment below if you have any questions.